Can Trump unify the Republican Party? Trick question. There is no Republican Party.
Karl, Super Tuesday, you've been through a lot of them. What are your thoughts on this one?
Strong night for Donald Trump. We've got the big enchiladas yet to come in the form of Texas and California. But I wouldn't be surprised if, given what he's doing in the rest of the country, he didn't take California, where if you get 50% plus one, you take all of the delegates. So a very good night for him. And it's in all likelihood his campaign's projection that they're going to win a majority of the delegates by either by later in the month, the 19th at the latest, is probably accurate. Having said that, the high command of Team Trump ought to be concerned about unifying the Republican Party, because as we see in the in these states, a third of the vote in Virginia, 43% of the vote in Massachusetts going to Nikki Haley, a quarter of the vote in North Carolina. Maine has now dropped down to about a quarter of the vote, but it was 31% for Nikki Haley. Vermont, 48%. There's still some work to be done to unify the Republican Party, and that's going to depend a lot on his tone tonight and whether or not he stops doing things like calling her bird brain and threatening that if you give money to her campaign, you're going to be permanently banned.
That's Karl Rove. You might remember him from his early film career. Karl Rove was W's senior advisor, so he knows a thing or two about mental challenges.
The issue of immigration stirs intense emotions. And in recent weeks, Americans have seen those emotions on display. On the streets of major cities.
There's a lot to unpack here. Trump won Super Tuesday bigly, except for Vermont, which has 37 people and a moose named Bullwinkle. This was expected, as was this.
The time has now come to suspend my campaign.
And when Haley stepped down, and this is significant, she didn't endorse Trump. She said Trump must extend an olive branch to Haley voters. You know, the woman he called bird brain, and said that anyone who voted for her would never be allowed into MAGA.
We must bind together.
Trump doesn't do olive branches. That's like asking a rattlesnake to tie your shoes. As a candidate, Haley was an outlier of sorts. Her parents are Indian, and that confused Trump voters. She also had to endure Trump's personal insults.
Attacking Nikki Haley, who is the daughter of Indian immigrants. Writing, anyone listening to Nikki Nimrata Haley's whacked-out speech last night would think that she won the Iowa primary, misspelling Haley's birth name, Nimrata. Trump also posting this picture, mixing Haley's photo with Hillary Clinton.
Nikki Haley, in particular, is counting on the Democrats and liberals to infiltrate your Republican primary.
Trump has often resorted to race and gender-based attacks on Haley, reposting a false report questioning her eligibility for the presidency in the run-up to the Iowa caucus because her parents were born abroad.
Sociopaths are incapable of the normal behavior to which we've been accustomed. But that circus tent show may be packing it in soon.
I have always been a conservative Republican and always supported the Republican nominee. But on this question, as she did on so many others, Margaret Thatcher provided some good advice when she said, quote, "Never just follow the crowd. Always make up your own mind."
But those significant numbers of voters who for a moment made her competitive, where will they go? Will those voters show up for Trump? In a normal world, you'd say, no way.
The most successful Super Tuesday in history, and would further like to invite all of the Haley supporters to join the greatest movement in the history of our nation. So he starts by saying that Haley's supporters and donors are Democrats. He's also said that anybody who donates to Haley was not somebody who he wanted donating to him. And then he ends with saying, if Nikki Haley's supporters want to support him, he welcomes them.
Trump's misogyny is on an Olympic level. And between now and November, if the Supreme Court doesn't interfere, Trump will likely be convicted on multiple felonies, and the trial will be replete with hundreds of reasons why Trump is a liability, not just for the Republican Party, but the world. But first, let's go over those numbers that Rove just showed us. These are the people who voted for Haley, and yes, some are independents and even Democrats. But what's happening now that didn't happen in 2020 is this. Trump is a criminally insane bully facing 91 indictments who lashes out at anyone and everyone who gets in his way. And for the last 8 years, GOP incels like Cruz and Graham and Rand Paul and Marco came groveling back like those women whose boyfriends beat them up on cops. Till the cops arrived, then the women start hitting on the police. What's happening now, however, at least according to these numbers, is the people who voted for Tiny Fingers in 2020 are doing their own calculations, and it's starting to add up. Trump's a pathological liar that they can't control. It's like they bought a guard dog to protect them, and now Butchie won't let them in their own house. Nikki Haley tapped into something, and the fact that she didn't endorse Trump will reverberate today. And the other numbers that has Trump world worried is the percentage of Republican voters who didn't vote in the primaries. It could be the incessant whining about the stolen election, his virulent attacks on fellow Republicans, or maybe the 91 indictments. It has to be wearisome even for Trump's stone-cold deplorables, espousing their bigoted hate and violent inclinations. I mean, how much more can a person take? Now, granted, Karl Rove ain't the guy who cries at Pepsi commercials where the little kid with crutches walks on his own. He's rooting for a slippery floor. Rove helped invade a country who had done nothing to us and killed 1 million Iraqis along the way. So when Karl Rove is skeptical of Trump's 2024 chances, I'm all ears. He and Cheney represent the old guard Republicans, who cut off food stamps just for the look on their faces. So they understand Trump, and they're tired of being on the outside. And this is real important.
If I am elected to this position, I can assure you there will not be any more $70,000 or whatever exorbitant amount of money it was spent on flowers. Every single penny will go to the number one and the only job of the RNC. That is electing Donald J. Trump.
There are close to 250 Republicans running for Congress this fall and hundreds more in state legislatures. The RNC is being run by a Trump family member who has publicly promised every penny is going to Trump. This has wide reverberations. It automatically kills moderates and gives Democrats a chance to play hardball on abortion, the torpedoed border bill, and the only elephant in the room, the first convict president to be inaugurated right after a cavity check.
I'm very rich. I don't need anybody's money. It's nice. I'm really rich.
I'm the most successful person ever to run.
We'll see, Donnie. You're in Dutch to $500 million. You're going to have to sell a lot of bobbleheads. And let's remember, Democrats can spend everywhere. Republicans will be strapped to spend in the important swing states, meaning that nationwide, Republican candidates will be at a severe disadvantage. The Trump supporters who still accept tiny fingers after having been maligned and degraded by this sociopath have always fascinated moderates, independents, and Democrats, especially after the only thing Trump delivered to them was pro-life judges, and is now fighting for a woman's right to decide when and if she has a family. That has led to the Alabama Supreme Court decision to declare IVF eggs are humans. Of course, in Alabama, you can send children to death row, so this might solve itself. It's unclear if Karl Rove went on Fox to scare MAGA or to stir them up. And of course, Fox, not having another billion to spend on lawsuits, isn't going to allow Trump to lie and disparage the voting machines and other apparatus used to pick a president. But what does all this mean as it relates to the fall? Talk to a Republican off the record, and you can see the weariness in their eyes. But that's not enough. They need to be mad. Haley could be the next Liz Cheney, but more probably the next Ted Cruz. She will most probably say at some point, I endorse Donald Trump and Joe Biden is blah, blah, blah. Or maybe, just maybe, she can inspire enough of Trump's checkbook followers to see the long game. 5 of the justices on the Supreme Court have shown glimpses of independence from MAGA, and that may be enough to create a coalition of Republicans to either create convention chaos or sit on their hands. Rove's numbers show Republicans and Democrats that Democrats can win big in the fall if they can remember how to win. Voters must come to see the bipartisan border bill as a true sign of who Trump really is, an egotistical psycho who you cannot trust with the keys to the House, much less the nuclear codes. Nikki Haley's gone now, and the election, like it or not, comes down to Joe Biden to convince these people that old may not be great, but insane might just kill you.
Am I wrong?
Damn right.
Yes! Tick-tock!
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
Follow, like, and hit notifications as Really American keeps you up to date on the latest Republican cult lie in this very important year. For Really American, I'm Chip Franklin.